Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's happening. Is it too early to say that the Jacob Fowler era has officially begun in Montreal? Well, either way, it's happening tonight because Jacob Fowler will make his NHL debut versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dreams coming true tonight, folks. And whether you were ready for him or not, here comes Jacob Fowler because he's coming in at a time when the Canadiens desperately need some goaltending that can be effective here. This is a bit of a desperation move in some folks' eyes, and that's totally fine because, frankly, Sam Montembeault and Jakub Dobeš, as of late, have not been performing. So that means that opportunity knocks for Jacob Fowler. And what's most interesting, I think, right off the bat here is that Jacob Fowler completes this quadrant here of Habs legends that have actually their first career NHL games have been all against the Pittsburgh Penguins, starting with Ken Dryden in goal, number 29. We have Patrick Waugh, number 33, winning his start against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Carey Price, number 31, winning his start against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And now Jacob Fowler wearing number 32, going in order. Waugh 33, Price 31, and Fowler right in the middle at 32. I don't know how you want to look at that, but just the way we're looking at their numbers that they wore. So here we are. And an interesting quote right off the bat from Owen Beck, who also is part of this recall from the Laval Rocket, along with Adam Engstrom. So this quote here from Owen Beck states, "He's been incredible for us," speaking of Fowler, "been really solid, and we're a confident team when he's back there. He brings a calming presence. His style of game is very relaxed. It's not overreactive and flying around. Very positional, and that brings a sense of calmness to the team." I can say this much, that I've seen Jacob Fowler play in person once in Montreal at the Prospect Challenge versus the Winnipeg Jets rookies, and I'll say this, he didn't let in a single goal in the period and a half or so that he played in. And I will say, though, that when there was chaos happening in front of Jacob Fowler's net, that he was not overreactionary, and I will say that he definitely had a sense of calmness, focus, and really just a belief, it seemed like, that he's going to stop every puck. And I know that every goalie believes that and they want to believe that. But the point is that Jacob Fowler is ready for this opportunity to make his NHL debut. And Martin St. Louis confirmed that him and Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton had already been talking about this recently with the struggles of Montembeault and Jakub Dobeš. So you know that Jacob Fowler may have already had it in his ear a little bit. Hey, you might be getting called up soon, so be ready when called upon. And now that time has officially come. We also just heard from Jacob Fowler in a recent interview with Marco D'Amico, and it was a really, really good interview. I'd encourage you to go check it out on YouTube. And Jacob Fowler talked about how the closest to NHL action that he's had is in the preseason this year versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. And, he thought about how amazing it was just to see the Penguins logo at the other side of the ice. Well, tonight, he's going to be seeing that Penguins logo again, only with Sidney Crosby, of course, donning that jersey and playing against Sidney Crosby and the Penguins in his first NHL game. It's a storybook debut for Jacob Fowler, and frankly, that's what he deserves based on how highly touted he's already been as the Canadiens' top goalie prospect, already being given almost the heir to the throne of Carey Price. I know that Jakub Dobeš and Samuel Montembeault are still here, but the next great goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens is projected to be Jacob Fowler. So let's see what he can do, and I'm really expecting a solid debut for this kid. I'm really expecting it, and I think you should be too. So far in Laval this season, 15 games played for Fowler, a 2.09 save percentage. So far in 15 games played this season with Laval, Fowler has a 2.09 goals against average, a 10-5-0 record, and a 9.19 save percentage. Last season, we know that Fowler signed just before the Laval Rocket went on their playoff run, and he played in only 3 regular season games with the Rocket, but did also add a very effective 8 playoff games, helping lead them to the conference final, which is the furthest that the Rocket has gotten to since they've gotten to Laval. Stylistically, Fowler has been compared to a few goaltenders, actually, and one in particular that Pierre Maguire has mentioned multiple times on the Sick podcast, and he doesn't use it lightly, but he has compared Fowler stylistically in some ways, competitively, mentally, edgewise, to Martin Brodeur. It's a very, very lofty comparison to compare him to arguably the greatest goaltender of all time. But that's a player, that's a goalie that actually he reminded Pierre Maguire of specifically. Fowler just turned 21 years of age on November 24th. He is listed at 6'2", 213 pounds. And again, he was picked in the third round, 69th overall in the 2023 NHL entry draft. There was a scout. If you watch the draft meetings video on the Montreal Canadiens YouTube channel, I know a lot of you have, you'll see that there is a scout with the Montreal Canadiens that was ready to pound the table for the Canadiens to select Jacob Fowler. At that time, Fowler had been passed over by several junior leagues and was not drafted. They even show Fowler's interview, of course, talking about that experience of being undrafted and how much it really added fuel to the fire for him. He is such a solid competitor, Fowler is. He's got the right mindset. He's got that mature mindset, but at the very same time, you hear in the interview with Marco D'Amico, he loves to smile and joke around and have a great time at the rink. So I think he's able to compartmentalize how to take the game seriously, how to focus and dial in, and also just love living his dream out here as a goaltender, and now living out his dream as a goaltender in the NHL for the Montreal Canadiens. How long is this call-up going to last, you ask? Well, we don't know what the answer to that is, but right now the Canadiens are going with a 3-goaltender system just like they did a couple seasons ago when Jake Allen, Samuel Montembeault, and Caden Primo stayed with the Canadiens for quite a while. Now, I don't think it's going to last all that long, but I think it really does depend on just how NHL ready Jacob Fowler really is and how he performs at the NHL level. Some of us have gotten the sense that Jacob Fowler and Jakub Dobeš will immediately be the future of the Montreal Canadiens in net. So will this be a picture at some point this season here, depending on what they decide to do and how long Fowler stays and how well he performs? Will this be a picture of them being the goaltending tandem of the near future here? Time will certainly tell, but Fowler is not the only call-up. Let's talk briefly about Owen Beck. And Owen Beck, this is about his third call-up with the Montreal Canadiens, maybe his fourth actually, and he still has not yet registered his first NHL goal. Jake Evans is away from the Montreal Canadiens for personal reasons, but will be rejoining the team against the Rangers on Saturday. Not sure if he'll be playing. In the meantime, Owen Beck will be playing with Josh Anderson and Alex Texier. That means we have some lineup news again, and Zachary Bolduc has been again put up to the first line with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. Juraj Slafkovsky returns to the second line with Oliver Kapanen and Ivan Demidov. I just mentioned the third line with Owen Beck. And the fourth line has Joe Veleno, Jared Davidson, and Brendan Gallagher. So that's interesting because, again, you know that Slafkovsky has already developed chemistry with Ivan Demidov and Oliver Kapanen. But why the promotion or re-promotion of Zachary Bolduc with Suzuki and Cole Caulfield? We're going to find out why. But we're hoping that Zach Bolduc is, again, going to get his game going. But he has played very well on the road, as have the Montreal Canadiens so far this season. Arbor Xhekaj will come out of the lineup for Adam Engstrom on defense. This is Engstrom's second call-up with the Canadiens. And, a bit of noise about Xhekaj. He always seems to be the scapegoat. But, they got to take out somebody. And I think they just really believe that this is the best possible pairing for tonight against the Penguins. Xhekaj, I'm sure, will be back in the lineup with a potential Rempe-Xhekaj rematch on Saturday versus the Rangers. That's my guess, anyway, is that Xhekaj could return as soon as Saturday against the Rangers. Struble Hudson, and then Matheson, Dobson. And then Tristan Jarry will be in the opposite crease for the Pittsburgh Penguins, who have gotten off to a much better start, by the way, to this season. So the Penguins are in the playoff picture as of right now. Not what everybody expected, of course, but here we are. Not going to go through the Penguins lineup. I usually do that on a pregame video, but Sidney Crosby, he's in the lineup. I can tell you that, but I didn't realize that Evgeny Malkin was not in the lineup. So either way, this is all about Jacob Fowler's NHL debut tonight. It's about whether Owen Beck can also make a contribution in his third or fourth call-up here. Is Adam Engstrom going to get more comfortable at the NHL level? So this game in general is a wake-up call for the Montreal Canadiens, period, after these lackluster performances they've had lately where they dropped a 6-1 game to Tampa. They lost a game against St. Louis and, frankly, just couldn't find a way to get a point out of that game. So this is a wake-up call for the entire team. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on tonight's game. I know what it's all going to be about for a lot of you. Leave your comments. Can't wait to read them. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit hype on the video, and we'll see you guys post-game, likely tomorrow morning. I cannot wait to talk to you guys about this game and watch history in the making for the Montreal Canadiens as Jacob Fowler makes his NHL debut. Let's enjoy the game, guys, and we'll see you real soon. Go Habs, go.